Hi, Truth here. I'm Tom. Welcome back. Listen, there's a lot of talk now about Target and what's going on over there and how they're sounding the alarm. Let me tell you something right now. The alarm on Target and many other retailers was sounded before 2020. We all knew that everything was going online. And actually, back in 2020, Target, this is the thing, people, especially Americans, I'm sorry, with very short memories. Who remembers as Target was coming up, everybody at that time was saying, oh my God, this is the next Walmart, except the stuff is nicer and it's not that much more expensive. You know, Walmart was considered the cheap Chinese crap. And then all of a sudden Walmart, Target starts coming up and people are like, well, wow, this is really nice. This is really nice. It's nicer. It's not crazy expensive, but it's really nice. You know, and then you had the pandemic hit, and then you had the panic. And then on top of all that, you had Amazon. Amazon was growing and growing and growing. Now, Target gave Amazon a real good run for their money as far as trying to catapult to the whole online purchasing thing. You know, Walmart always did pretty good. Amazon, of course, were the leader and still are the leader. And then you had others that had come into the space who were, really, really doing a lot of damage to all the retailers. And then you had, a couple of years ago there, you had Target try to jump all over the whole DEI thing. You know what happens? Anytime any business tries to pick a side, it usually doesn't end well for them. And it doesn't matter which side you're on. I'm not here to talk about politics or rights or wrongs or ifs or ands or buts. But typically when you start picking a side on something, it doesn't end well for you. So there was that whole debacle. So now you had the people, first of all, they gained a little bit of market share from the people who, of course, were embracing that idea. And then they lost market share on the people who didn't like that idea. Now, it doesn't matter which side is right or wrong or which side you think is right or wrong. The bottom line to that argument is then they tried to reverse that, or at least act like it didn't happen. And they started to take the stuff away from the front of the store and all blah, 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 blah. And now what happened? You lost one group. You gained another group temporarily, but then you lost that group because you turned on them. You had already turned on the other group. Now you lost both. Now neither side has respect for you. And what do people do? They just go elsewhere. They either went back to Walmart or they went back faster over to Amazon, which, like I said, was already happening anyway. This is happening. Look, everything is going online. A friend of mine I saw her yesterday. She was walking out of her house and she had a coffee maker. She commented, she goes, this is the third one of these I bought from Walmart, and I got to bring it back again. And I didn't say anything because you can't be telling people what to do. This has been happening to me so much over the years that I just buy stuff on Amazon now. Sometimes I even buy stuff on Amazon I'm not even sure I want. But you know what? I don't care, because if I don't like it, I send it back. It's delivered to my house, so I don't have to drive somewhere to get it. And if I need to return it, there's a place right around the corner from my house. I could literally walk there, and I don't even need a box. I just drop it off and say, here you go. They scan the code on my phone, the return code. It goes back into my bank account automatically, blah, 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 blah. Now, let me just say, I'm not saying that there isn't cracks in the economy. Of course there is. If we don't get a recession soon, I think we're in trouble. People are thinking, if we get a recession, we're in trouble. I think if we don't get a recession, we're in trouble. Everything is way too high. Real estate is way too high. Car prices are way too high. Everything is way too high. The only way you fix that is when you get a little kick in the butt and things start to come down organically. So, but anytime you hear anybody talk about how this retailer is doing really bad and it's because of the economy, you have to really look through that, because the economy is only a very, very tiny part of what's going on with Target. You need to understand that. Be very, very careful when you're just listening to people saying, oh, Target are sounding the alarm. It's all over YouTube now. Target are sounding the alarm. Everything's going to crash. The world's going to end. And we're all going to be out of business. And so is Walmart. Not so much. Target's in trouble. They're definitely in trouble. Let's not blame the economy just yet. Thanks for watching.